You've been misinformed for years by both dealerships and automakers. That's why most vehicles never make it past 100,000 miles. Today, I'm revealing 17 brutally honest hacks to help your car go well beyond 300,000 miles. We're exposing a web of deception and sharing expert advice that infuriates many mechanics. Stick around until the end, because the final tip takes just a second, but could save you $5,000 in repairs. Let's get started. Tip number 17. Stick to the 3K oil change rule. Are you following the oil change schedule from your vehicle's manual? If so, you're unknowingly destroying your engine, slowly but surely. I've inspected engines that adhered to the dealer's 10,000 to 15,000 mile oil change interval, only to find thick black sludge baked onto every internal part, like burnt lasagna. Pistons scorched, camshafts damaged, and oil passages blocked. The truth? These intervals are created to get the car through the 100,000 mile warranty, not to 300,000. Especially in real-life driving conditions like short trips or stop-and-go traffic, oil deteriorates much faster. My rule in the shop: change oil every 3,000 miles for conventional oil, or every 5,000 to 7,000 miles for synthetic. It may cost more up front, but it's much cheaper than a $4,000 engine rebuild. However, clean oil means little if you're harming the engine each morning. Tip number 16. Avoid long idling, drive gently instead. Think warming up your engine for 15 minutes by idling is helpful? Think again. It's a slow death for your engine. I've disassembled engines filled with fuel-contaminated oil that poured out like dirty water. Why? After 30 seconds, unburned fuel begins washing down cylinder walls, stripping protective oil layers, and degrading synthetic oil into sludge. If you want your engine to last 250,000 plus miles, start the car, wait 30 seconds, and then drive gently for a couple of miles. Driving warms the engine 8 times faster than idling. Real protection happens on the road, not in your driveway. Plus, this method saves fuel. Tip number 15. Stop filling after the pump clicks. That extra squeeze after the gas pump shuts off? It's not adding value. It's flooding your emission system with raw fuel. I've replaced countless charcoal canisters ruined from people overfilling their tanks. Those parts cost $350 to $900 to replace. Your gas tank requires airspace for vapors to move into the EVAP system. When you overfill, you force liquid fuel into vapor lines, damaging sensors and canisters. I've witnessed gas leaking out of vent lines like a balloon popped underwater. The solution? When the pump clicks, stop fueling. Overfilling shortens the life of your emission system. Tip number 14. Maintain transmission fluid early. Most people don't think about their transmission until it starts slipping. At that point, it's already too late. Transmissions cost $4,000 or more to replace. Unlike engine oil, transmission fluid isn't topped off frequently. It's sealed in and gradually degrades without showing visible signs. Even at 60,000 miles, it may still look clean but contains clutch material, metal fragments, and varnish, essentially liquid sandpaper. Change it every 60,000 miles or 6 years. For hybrids, up to 90,000 is acceptable. Don't flush an old, neglected transmission. Just do a drain and fill. Always use OEM fluid specific to your vehicle. Tip number 13. Coast early to extend brake life. Hard braking isn't sporty, it's costly. Every panic stop heats your rotors up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. That leads to warped rotors, glazed brake pads, and degraded fluid. To prolong your brake system's life, ease off the gas early, coast into stops, and use engine braking downhill. This simple change can double your brake pad and rotor lifespan, saving you hundreds. And when it's time to replace parts, use high-quality OEM or recommended aftermarket parts for your car. Cheap pads destroy rotors and squeal constantly. Tip number 12. Flush coolant before overheating happens. Modern engines can warp aluminum cylinder heads at 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Overheating even once can be fatal. I saw a Tacoma owner ignore an overheating gauge for just 8 minutes. The result? A $3,800 head gasket replacement. If your temp needle hits red, pull over immediately and turn the engine off. To prevent such issues, flush your coolant every 3 to 5 years and never mix coolant colors. Use only the exact coolant type recommended by your manufacturer to avoid internal corrosion and damage. Tip number 11. Don't ignore coolant leaks. If you're topping off coolant regularly, something's wrong. Coolant doesn't just evaporate, it's leaking, maybe from a radiator, a hose, or a water pump. It might be hidden like a leaking heater core or a minor head gasket issue. Some leaks only appear under pressure or heat. Use a pressure test on a cold engine to find them. Topping off repeatedly without solving the root cause is a slow path to engine failure. Tip number 10. Clear out excess cargo. Your SUV isn't a storage unit. Every extra 100 pounds adds 1,000 pounds of braking stress. I've seen vehicles with broken shocks and warped control arms due to overload. One customer carried 800 pounds of tools for a gig. 2 months later, $1,400 in suspension damage and new tires needed. Look at the gross vehicle weight rating on your door jamb, subtract curb weight, and that's your true payload. Don't exceed it, even passengers and luggage count. Tip number 9. Pay attention to strange noises. Ticking, clunking, whining, these aren't normal. They're warnings. Don't drown them out with music. A $40 belt noise can turn into a $1,200 alternator failure. One ticking sound ignored that turned out to be low oil starving the lifters, leading to a full engine teardown. When you hear noise, note when and where it occurs, then have it checked. Early fixes are affordable. Delays lead to major repairs. Tip number 8. Don't ride the clutch. Manual drivers, listen up. Resting your foot on the clutch seems harmless, but it causes premature wear. A clutch can burn out by 40,000 miles if you ride the pedal. Light pressure keeps the clutch partially engaged, which overheats and wears out components. Want longer clutch life? Keep your foot off the pedal unless shifting. At lights, shift to neutral. On hills, use the handbrake, not the clutch, to hold position. Tip number 7. Keep at least a quarter tank. Running your car close to empty doesn't just risk getting stranded, it slowly kills your fuel system. The fuel pump is submerged in gasoline to stay cool and lubricated. When levels get low, the pump draws in air and heat, leading to internal wear. In extreme cases, it overheats and seizes. I've seen vehicles with premature pump failures as early as 60,000 miles, simply because the owner always ran on empty. Plus, all the sediment and debris that settle at the bottom of the tank get pulled into the system when the fuel is low, which clogs the fuel filter, injectors, and pressure regulator. These repairs are costly and easily avoidable. If you live in hot climates or do a lot of uphill driving, keep your tank even fuller, closer to half, for added safety. Tip number 6. Use high-quality spark plugs. Spark plugs may cost just a few bucks, but they play a critical role in engine health and performance. Poor quality or worn plugs can lead to pre-ignition, knocking, misfires, poor fuel economy, and even engine failure. I've seen spark plugs degrade so badly they triggered the check engine light, damaged ignition coils, and even caused holes in pistons. Iridium and platinum plugs are more durable but not immortal. 60,000 to 70,000 miles is a smart interval to check or replace them, especially in high-performance or turbocharged engines. Avoid bargain bin brands. They're inconsistent and often cause rough idling or poor starts. Stick with NGK, Denso, Bosch, or OEM recommended brands. Also, ensure they're torqued to spec during installation. Over-tightening can crack ceramic tips, while under-tightening can cause blowouts. Tip number 5. Test engine mounts for wear. Engine mounts absorb vibration and keep the motor in place, but they're often overlooked because when they fail, it's not always obvious. Worn mounts can cause engine rocking, rough idling, and sudden clunks during acceleration or braking. I once ignored a subtle vibration at idle only to find that the front mount had split wide open, nearly pulling the flex pipe off the exhaust manifold. The damage could have cost over $1,000 if caught later. You can test yours by placing the car in drive with your foot firmly on the brake, then revving gently to 2,000 RPM. If the engine shifts more than an inch, it's time for replacements. Go for OEM mounts or quality aftermarket brands like Ancor, Torque Solution, or Westar. Avoid cheap rubber alternatives. They fail fast and perform poorly. Tip number 4, clean your undercarriage. Many people obsess over waxing the paint but ignore the most vulnerable part of their car, the underside. Road salt, mud, and debris cling to the undercarriage, leading to corrosion on brake lines, subframes, suspension arms, and even gas tanks. I've seen critical brake failures due to rusted through lines that looked fine from above. If you live in a region with snow, humidity, or frequent rain, one winter season is enough to start irreversible rust. Use a pressure washer or go to a car wash that includes an underbody spray. Pay extra attention to wheel wells, the backside of bumpers, and the lower engine area. Once a year, apply a rust inhibitor or undercoating like fluid film or Eastwood's rubberized coating to add a protective barrier. Tip number 3. Don't trust every repair estimate. Shops, especially dealerships, often pad repair quotes with unnecessary items. I've personally worked in environments where service advisors were trained to meet sales goals by pushing fluid flushes, air filters, or injector cleanings, even when they weren't needed. One shop quoted a customer over $1,400 in repairs for a car that needed nothing more than a $40 serpentine belt. Ask for photos of the faulty part, scan tool data, or OEM service intervals, and never say yes to work you didn't ask for without a second opinion. Use online resources like RepairPal or Your Mechanic to compare quotes. Also, check if your state has consumer protection laws. Some allow you to dispute unnecessary charges. Tip number 2. Clean battery terminals regularly. Battery corrosion isn't just cosmetic. It leads to hard starts, charging issues, and expensive electrical gremlins. I've seen multiple cases where cars wouldn't start or showed false dashboard errors, and the fix was a simple terminal cleaning. White or greenish crust, copper sulfate, is a sign of acid leakage or poor contact. Mix baking soda with warm water, use a wire brush to clean the terminals, and then coat them with dielectric grease or petroleum jelly to prevent future buildup. Also check for loose or damaged cables. A $5 terminal end can prevent a $900 alternator replacement, or worse. Make this part of your quarterly maintenance routine. It takes 10 minutes and can save your electronics and wallet. Tip number 1. Use the parking brake every time. Most drivers think the park gear is enough. It's not. Inside the transmission is a small metal piece called the parking pawl, which locks the output shaft to prevent movement. On an incline, that tiny pawl holds the entire weight of the vehicle. If you don't engage the parking brake, especially on hills, the strain eventually leads to a snapped pawl or transmission damage, costing $2,500 plus to repair. I've personally seen cases where people had their cars roll away because the pawl failed or didn't engage fully. Always set the parking brake before shifting into park. It takes 1 second and gives you peace of mind. Using the brake regularly keeps the rear brake system lubricated and prevents it from seizing due to lack of use. Now that you've learned 17 proven techniques to extend your car's life, you're ahead of the curve. But there's one more thing you need to know: how to avoid scams. In my next video, I expose 13 mechanic scams that drain your wallet. Click the video now and protect yourself from getting ripped off. If you found these tips helpful and want more no-nonsense advice that keeps your car running stronger and longer, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your car and your wallet will thank you.